Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Bhagavati Devidasi from Mangalore, India. Please forgive me for stopping all of you from ecstatic chanting. Now let us move on to the next part of the session. I would like to read the 10 offenses given to the holy name, which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva and Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success Krishna Prema. So once again, I thank everyone for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Let us move on to the next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all are joining the call today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devidasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna Yashamati Priya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Shama Gauri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shama Gauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Indulekha Karna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Vrinda Gopika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. This is Sundarangi Radha Mataji from Canada.
Hare Krishna Sundarangi Radha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Okay, I welcome all of you once again for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are really fortunate to have His Holiness Bhakti Anugrah Jannardhana Swami Maharaj to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 7.14.14. Before I hand over the call to Maharaj, I would like to hand over the call to Sundarangi Radha Mataji for the brief introduction on Maharaj. Over to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are so fortunate to have His Holiness Bhakti Anugrah Jannardhana Swami Maharaj on our call today. So Maharaj was born in Philippines. Maharaj is a senior disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He joined ISKCON in the year 1984 in Toronto, Canada. When Maharaj was 14 years old, he started to get curious about spirituality, and that's when he came in touch with Srila Prabhupada's books. When Maharaj got more and more interest in Prabhupada's books, he insisted his mother to get him Bhagavad Gita. However, he was not able to receive Gita that time by mail due to some reason. But when he moved to Canada in 1980, he could successfully get his first Bhagavad Gita by mail from LA. When Maharaj was in Toronto in 1984, he visited a temple and never left ISKCON temple after that. He started to live in a temple on rent rather than staying outside, and that is how Maharaj got involved in temple services. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj has recommended making Maharaj a member of the Vrindavan Executive Board, and so Maharaj has been serving as a vice president in Vrindavan, India for more than 12 years. Maharaj is an excellent kirtaner. He travels with His Holiness, he used to travel with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj and all over the world to preach Krishna consciousness, and specially has been preaching in Delhi, Vrindavan, and Philippines. All glories to all your wonderful services, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you. This was the brief introduction about Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for that brief introduction on Maharaj. Looks like Maharaj is set to join. Is there anyone who would like to introduce in the call today?
Hare Krishna, Bhagavati Mataji, Yoga, Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandas Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavati Mataji, Janardhan pranam to you and all the devotees. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to Ashrams devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna everyone. Please accept my humble obeisance. My name is Vince from Philippines and currently I am trying to be a devotee of Lord Krishna. I started practicing Krishna consciousness since January 2024 and I'm been in 1 year this month on the practice and hoping to learn more and feel the love of Krishna. That's all. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Winston Maria Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Happy to have you in this Bhakti Sangha and look forward for your association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Maharaj is joining in 2 minutes, Mataji.
Okay,
He's
Mataji.
ready. Anybody wants to introduce, they can introduce, otherwise we can chant. Continue.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Ram, 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 Ram,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank
This
you.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj, for giving your valuable time and
It's not
association.
clear.
Thank you, Maharaj, for giving your time and association in this
Mm-hmm.
Bhakti Sangha conference call. We are really fortunate to have you on this Bhakti Sangha call, and we look forward for your association, and
Mm-hmm.
we are
Mm-hmm.
eager to hear from you. We just done with the introduction, so you can take over the call, Prabhuji. Today's verse is Srimad Bhagavatam 7.14.14. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Something wrong. I was trying to connect from my laptop. It doesn't work.
Mm.
I'm sorry for the delay. Let's see. Okay. So we'll start now.
Yes, ma'am.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Bharadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Bharadhari Yashodhanandana Praja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Praja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Yashodam Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandanam Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Sri Radhe Jai Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Sri Radhe Jai Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Sri Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol
Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Nitai Gaur Shitanath Premanandi, Hari Haribol. Namam Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasaya Bhutale, Shrimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Tamini. Prabhupada Sahitramya Prakasha Bhitirecha, Pracharang Girvashadu Bhagatpate Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Simate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Jnanantimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dati Swapadam Tikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupang Sagrajatan Sagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Visakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavanispari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvyaevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, Ideal Grihasta Life, and text number 14. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada came. Siddhar Yajna Vasishtarthai Kalpayed Briting Atmana Se Swatpang Jang Pragya Padabing Mahatang Iyat Siddhar Yajna Vasishtarthai Kalpayed Briting Atmana Se Swatpang Jang Pragya Padabing Mahatang Iyat. What forward meaning? Siddhai, things obtained by the grace of the Lord. Yagya avashishta artai, things obtained after a sacrifice is offered to the Lord or after the recommended pancha shuna yagya is performed. Kalpayet, one should consider vritim, the means of livelihood, atmana, for the self, sheshe, at the end, Swatvam, so-called proprietorship over one's wife, children, home, business, and so on. Tyajan, giving up. Prajna, those who are wise. Padavim, the position. Mahatam, of the great personalities who are fully satisfied in spiritual consciousness. Iyat, should achieve. Translation: an intelligent person should be satisfied with eating prasad, food offered to the Lord, or with performing the 5 different kinds of yajna, pancha shuna. By such activities, one can give up attachment for the body and so-called proprietorship with reference to the body. When one is able to do this, he is firmly fixed in the position of a Mahatma. Hmm. Purport. Nature already has an arrangement to feed us. By the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is an arrangement for eatables for every living entity within the 8,400,000 forms of life. Eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. Every living entity has to eat something. And in fact, the necessities for his life have already been provided by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord has provided food for both the elephant and the ant. All living beings are living at the cost of the Supreme Lord, and therefore, one who is intelligent should not work very hard for material comforts. Rather, one should save his energy for advancing in Krishna consciousness. All created things in the sky and in the earth and land and in the sea belong to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And every living being is provided with food. Therefore, one should not be very much anxious about economic development and unnecessarily waste time and energy with the risk of falling down in the cycle of birth and death. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Siddhar yajna vasishtartai kalpayed briting atmana se swatvang tajam pragya padaving mahatang iya. So the whole chapter here explains about the different regulative principles that the Grihasta or householder should follow. And this is one of them. It mentions here that he should be satisfied with eating prasad, food offered to the Lord. Ultimately, everything has to be done as an offering to the Lord. Lord Vasudev, Krishna. It's like in Krishna book or in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. You'll see the word Vasudev with hyphen with the A, Vasudev, and there's Vasudev. That's the father of Lord Krishna. And as enjoined by the scriptures, that a person who is in the Grihasta Ashram, that means a person who is in the householder life, must follow certain principles in order for him to be detached completely from the material world. Grihasta Ashram is like a learning ashram, like brahmachari also, but learning how to become detached. This is the Grihasta Ashram. The brahmacharis also, they are student in the spiritual life. And because just like the sannyasis and also the vanaprasthas, they are more geared towards understanding the supreme. This is the position of everyone, especially in the human form of life. how to get out of this material world. And he mentions here in this chapter specifically that one must be performing his occupational duty as a grihasta or as a householder if he is um, following the scriptures. Then also he needs to perform his activities whereby the Supreme Lord is the main focus. The householders, this is their first duty, to become fully dependent unto Vasudeva and try to satisfy him in all cause, in all aspects, by executing one's prescribed devotional service. This is the difference between the human form of life and the other forms of life in the 8,400,000 species of life. A Grihasta Ashram means an ashram of responsibility. When we say ashram, there are three levels in spiritual life, which ultimately all the sections of this brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas ashram, that they have to fully dedicate themselves. The only difference is that the grihasthas, they have this special license for sense enjoyment. They have to somehow try to earn for their livelihood so that they'll be able to maintain their family. However, in the Grihastha ashram, the main focus is that how we can become detached ultimately. As Prabhupada says, that the greatest bondage in the material world is family attachment. So, as a grihastha or as a householder, yeah, he needs to find means of livelihood. He requires that. And this is the only ashram that's meant also to provide for the other ashrams, the brahmacharis, the grihasthas, and the sannyas. So they have this opportunity to earn for a living, but according to the Shastras, one should not be unnecessarily increase one's material comforts. Yes, life is meant to be for austerities. Even grihasthas, they should also follow a certain program whereby they also have to be austere. And at the same time, they have to work. So how can you balance that? Austere means the main focus ultimately is to get out of this material world. But the material world is too entangling. That's why this is the material world. Material world means dukkhalayam and ashashvatam. It's full of miseries, and because it is temporary. So the grihasthas, they have to learn how to become detached. Everyone has to learn how to become detached, but especially the grihasthas, because of this license for sense enjoyment. So it says there that his dealings with the family, friends, and loved ones should be performed, it says here, simply to fulfill their purpose, and one should not be extravagantly engaged in this way. So, how to do this? Because in my travels now, I'm in the Philippines. Everywhere I go, the grihastas in our movement, they're very busy. Too busy that sometimes um, they don't have time for their family. So at the same time, Prabhupada says that if somehow one is in this ashram, he should maintain himself, maintain his family, uh, and ultimately one should be giving up possessiveness. And this can only be attained if we focus ultimately onto the Supreme Lord. So irregardless, because each and every one of us we have our own quota. And in the Grihasta Ashram, sacrificial, says here one should perform this five daily sacrifices. But it is mentioned in the next verse. That ultimately, one should maintain oneself, but not be attached to the objects, and only to the extent of filling the belly. Because one can perform the household duties as a householder, and one may be caught up. Whatever is our basic necessities, then if we can attain that, and we should work for that, one should not endeavor extra that one will forget the purpose of human form of life. And one of them, it says here, is especially through eating. Through eating. And the Supreme Lord provides all the necessities of everyone. Prabhupada gave an example, just like even the elephants in the forest, they've been provided by the Supreme Lord. Hundreds of kilos of food, especially big elephants. They have a big appetite and they have a big digestive system. So, however, everyone is being maintained by the Supreme Lord. They don't have to struggle so hard. They don't have to perform work in such a way that this is part of their life. And they've been provided by the Supreme Personality of God. It doesn't matter which section we belong to in this 8,400,000 species of life. So the Lord also, as Prabhupada says, the Lord provides for the ant and the elephant. And Purport says this: all living entities are living at the cost of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, one who is intelligent enough should not work very hard. That intelligent enough means in human form of life. Sometimes a person can have 2, 3 jobs, sometimes even 4. One full-time and then 2 or 3 part-time jobs. And for them, it seems to be, it's not even enough. They'll work so hard that actually who's getting the money? Only the government. It's like here in the Philippines, I was told that 30% of one's income goes to the government. So practically, one only works for the government. And if there's anything remaining, then they try to enjoy. Prabhupada gave an example of how a householder should divide one's material opulence, especially the fruits of one's activities. 50% goes for the propagation of Krishna consciousness. It's like a Grihasta, it is advised to be engaged in helping the conditioned souls to get out from this material world. Their hard-earned living, the cost nowadays is very expensive, but at the same time, the focus of the Grihasta is to help propagate Krishna consciousness and give to the devotees who are engaged in spreading Krishna consciousness. So one should save his energy more in for advancing in Krishna consciousness. And I know some devotees they're doing this. It says that the family man should engage the wife, especially they should invite sadhus or holy men, and by their association, this is very important, by the association of those who are more advanced than they are. Prabhupada used the words austerities. Austerities, oh no, sadhus, sorry, sadhu. Yeah, because their life is involved more in austerities and trying to inquire about the absolute truth. So when the Grihastas will have this association of the sadhus, they will learn from them, the holy men, they will learn from them how to live a life whereby, even though seemingly engaged in material pursuits, that they should not forget the goal of life, which is to go back home, back to Godhead. So this is the advantages when they hear from the sadhus, specifically because they have realized the absolute truth, then they'll be able to rekindle the loving propensities of everyone. The sadhus, they don't have any other purpose except go door to door to the grihastas and try to remind them the main purpose of human form of life. And by their association, we'll be able to hear about Krishna and his pastimes, his name, fame, form, and qualities, that ultimately the grihastas, Prabhupada says in the purport that the attachment towards family members is so thick that it's very difficult to give it up. Prabhupada gave an example of the husband who is very attached to the wife materially. So the husband should be able to, by his example, should be a devotee, aspire to become a devotee by performing bhakti, these 9 processes of devotional service, and engage all the family members for the same purpose, to go back home, back to Godhead. So one should not work very hard, and just the result is meant for sense enjoyment. Yes, Prabhupada says here in this chapter, especially that the grihasta, the husband, should engage the wife in entertaining or serving the sadhus, serving the holy men. Hare Krishna. Am I still with you? Still? Haribol?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Maharaj.
Yes,
Okay.
Maharaj.
Sorry, someone was trying to call me. Um, the necessities of life should be met, especially by the grihastas. But by hearing from the right source, from the holy men, the brahmanas, Vaishnavas, then he's or the grihastas, they will be able to learn how to control their senses, be able to learn how to control the mind, be able to learn how to utilize this human form of life to go back home, back to Godhead. And especially, it says here about prasadam. again, we go back to prasad or food. It's very difficult, especially nowadays, to follow this process of surrendering unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it so easy that he says that just chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and offer your food to Krishna, and one will go back home, back to Godhead. One will be able to fulfill one's desire to achieve. And the Grihastas, because everyone has to eat, but especially the Grihastas, sometimes they will have this propensity again to be eating for a sense enjoyment. The brahmacharis, they know they only eat from the temple because they live in the temple. Or the sannyasis supposed to be, yes, live in the temple. And the vanaprasthas as well, because they travel in many, many places all over, wherever there is a need of the time. For the vanaprasthas, the retired life, then the husband and wife will just go on the pilgrims, and therefore also they know how to utilize, especially when it comes to eating this prasad. There's a word used here in this purport that avashishta artai. The one has to perform sacrifice and offer it to the Lord or after the recommended pancha shuna yagya. So, yes, there is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, yagyai sankirta. Work has to be done as a sacrifice. Yajñartat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma vandana tad artam karma konteya mukta sanga samachara. So everything should be done as a sacrifice for the benefit of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, one's work will bind one into this material world. So even the food that we eat has to be prepared in such a way that it is not for sense enjoyment. We should also think that the wife and the children in the Grihasta Ashram doesn't belong to me. They're not my property. I'm not the proprietor. I'm a servant. And as much as possible, everything that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, yes, Manasa Deho Geha Jo Kichumor Arpilu Tuapate Nanda Kishore. Whatever is mine, whatever belongs to me, my family, my wealth, everything in relation to this body, actually I offer to you. Manasa Deho Geho Jo Kichumor Arpilu Tuapate Nanda Kishore. He should know his position. Even the business. If somehow the business that one is having or the work that is having, this also should be utilized for Krishna service. And as what we're talking also about food, that's why the food means should be offered first to Krishna. The Grihastas, this is their duty, this is their main way how they can purify themselves. Offer the prasad, offer the sacrifice, offer everything. Yat karosi yat nyasi, yat yajosi dadasya. So yes, whatever sacrifice, whatever austerities that we perform, should be offered to Krishna for our own purification. And anyone who performs his activities in such a way, then he is called a Mahatma. Mahatma means a great soul. A great soul means one who is always engaged in the loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Um, and they are the ones who are only fully satisfied, um, especially in this world, very difficult to attain this satisfaction. And it's impossible. We were talking about that the other day. Material life is difficult and it is impossible. Spiritual life also is difficult, but it is possible. Spiritual life is difficult because it is not our priority. But if it becomes part of our daily activities, yes, then it becomes easy. There are many examples of even the Supreme Lord themselves, like Lord Chaitanya, Lord Ram, Lord Krishna. They're also in, they were in the Grihasta Ashrams. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he married twice. Lord Ram, only one wife, Ekapatni. And Lord Krishna, he had 16,108 wives, 5,000 years ago when he performed his pastimes. It is not so easy even nowadays, even to have one family of, having 2 children or 3 children. Lord Krishna has so many wives and so many sons from each queen. And one of those sons, one of those 10 sons, has also 10 sons each. So the whole aggregate, the whole family of Lord Krishna is quite huge. But he's able to maintain them. He lived as an ideal grihasta as well, waking up early in the morning, Brahma Muhurta hour. Prabhupada says in the Krishna book that 3 hours before sunrise. Now, there is another statement, or many statements that Prabhupada says that Brahma Muhurta hour is 1.5 hours before sunrise. So the Grihastas should also wake up early in the morning, following in the footsteps of Lord Krishna. And he says that also he will perform deity worship, or meditate on himself. But we cannot do that. We were reading that in Brindavan prior to coming here in the Philippines, whereby his body is not different from within. There is no difference. That's why Krishna is the absolute, supreme, absolute truth. But for us, we have to meditate on the Supreme Lord. Meditate on the Supreme Lord, especially unto his lotus feet, because this is the refuge, this is the shelter of all the devotees of the Supreme Lord. Meditation on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And as Grihastas, it is also enjoined to have deity worship at home. But if one lives nearby a temple, then your deities will be the deities at the temple. In different yugas, deity worship also is being emphasized. It's like in Dwapara Yuga, or before that in Treta Yuga. Sacrifices, yagya, or in Satya Yuga, the process by which one can be delivered is by meditation. In Kali Yuga, we can also accomplish how to get out of this material world by following Lord Chaitanya's message of Sankirtan Yagya, chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And everyone, regardless of one's position in life, one can perform this Sankirtan Yagya, chant the holy name of the Lord, and offer your food to Krishna. Offer your food to Krishna. This is a sacrifice in the age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yagya. And by eating only prasad, food offered to the Lord, no one can go back home, back to Godhead. This is the prescribed method in this day and age. And definitely, one should be able to maintain oneself by all of these different activities that one perform in the Grihasta Ashram, provided that Krishna becomes the center of one's life. And ultimately, one has to learn how to become detached. It's not that we don't care, but the affection should be in such a way that Krishna will become the center of one's life. Otherwise, if the attachment is with the bodily designation, then or with the how to increase only material sense enjoyment, then one will not be able to develop love for Krishna. So we should not be so anxious about economic development and unnecessarily wasting time and energy with the risk, as Prabhupada says, of falling down in the cycle of birth and death. So Grihastas, having this privilege or license for sense enjoyment, but one's life should be also regulated, not to overdo it unnecessarily, so that one will, at the time of one's death, be able to remember Krishna. Even one can become Krishna conscious. One does not necessarily wait until the time of death, because everything that we do, this is our motto, this is our slogan, always remember Krishna and never forget him. And whatever we're doing every day actually determines what we're going to be in our next life. So for devotees, there is no difference in this life and the next. One only continues to serve the Supreme Lord. But if one misses that opportunity to understand that my main duty is to serve the Supreme Lord and help others, help others to go back home, back to Godhead, even in the Grihasta Ashram, then one guarantees or guaranteed in the association of advanced devotees by taking shelter of them, the one is guaranteed to go back home, back to Godhead. This is the main import of this verse. And I will stop here now if there's any questions or comments. Any question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank
Raise
you.
your hands.
Thank you
Try
so
to
much, Maharaj,
monitor.
for this very, very wonderful session. Yes, Maharaj, there are some hand raises. I ask Latika Gauranga, you can please ask your question, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Pranam, please
Haribol,
accept my
Haribol.
humble obeisances
Hare
at
Krishna.
your lotus feet. Maharaj, I have two questions. First, is the attachment to the family is good if we engage them in Krishna consciousness? first. And second,
What's that again? What was the first
is,
question?
is the attachment to the family good if we engage them in Krishna consciousness?
Oh, yes. That is the ideally. Ideally, one should be doing that, and it is not so easy because each and every one of us in the family. I was mentioning that earlier in one of our meetings that we took birth in a certain family because there is a collective karma that we have to burn or receive, um, either in sorrow or in joy, and you will not take birth in a different family if you don't have that collective karma with each and every members of the family. So how to, because we're all different in a sense, we're all unique, but then we should be all having the same aim, to purify our existence so that we'll be eligible to see Krishna one day. So um, attachment should be how one can help each other to be Krishna conscious. We should all be like in the same wavelength. But somehow, the onus should be from the father to do this. The father says the head of the family. So ideally, he should be Krishna conscious. And with the help of the wife, they will perform um, devotional service and also try their very best to raise the children to be also Krishna conscious. This is their main duty because, yes, it says in the Shastra, one should not be a king, one should not be a guru or a teacher, one should not be a parent if he cannot release his subjects from the cycle of repeated birth and death. So that attachment should be with Krishna, but attachment and the bodily platform, because this is the tendency. I want to make my family happy. And for that purpose of making them happy in Krishna consciousness, but not materially. Otherwise, we'll just get more and more entangled in this material world. So that should be the attachment. That love is there because Krishna is the center. Um, I know some families are like this. You know, the children, they grow up and they still follow in the footsteps of their parents, and they're blessed in that way. Others, some kind of like diversion or just being lazy to practice Krishna consciousness. The children knows that, yes, this is what I should be doing, but I want to enjoy a little bit, and they forget the purpose of human form of life. They take it easy. That he says, "Oh, I have time. When I get old, I will surely try to be Krishna conscious." So the attachment uh, should be to Krishna, not for sense enjoyment. That is genuine attachment. So that's why he says in the purport, one should be a little extra careful because sometimes they're overwhelmed. They think I was talking with one devotee family. I told the mother that you have enough money for the rest of your life to be maintained. You don't need to be working hard because every time I visit them, oh, they're busy. My children are busy. We should be busy also for Krishna. Because it says there, even the elephant and ant, they eat. They don't put their money in the stock exchange, or they don't invest in bitcoins. But they survive. Krishna maintained them. So if those other living entities are being maintained, why not me? But I have to work. But don't work too hard. Okay? Don't work too hard that one will miss the opportunity in this human form of life. See, it's a two-way street. The children also should follow the parents. Yeah, respect them, and honor them. That, sometimes children, they don't want to listen to their parents. They will say, I know what I'm doing. You don't have to tell me anything. Hmm?
Maharaj, if the parents are non-devotee, in that case, what will one do? And if the children are becoming devotee due to their past
Yeah,
karmas, then
yeah,
in
yeah.
that case,
Yes, yes. Sometimes this happen also. But if the parents value the children's choice of way of life, then they also get credited. They may not take up to the process of bhakti in this lifetime, but having a child to be a devotee increases more their chance also that they'll become devotees because of the children. What is the name? The story of Prahlad Maharaj. He was able to also save Hiranyakashipu because he was given um, benediction. He was asked by Lord Nisingadev, what benediction you want? But Prahlad Maharaj says, no, I don't want any benediction because it'll be just like a business transaction. So, but if you're gonna give me a benediction, I want everyone to go back home, back to Godhead, including my father. That is not so easy. Because he has a very high level of love towards the Supreme Lord. If you have love for Krishna, you have love for everyone, including your family, your friends, and loved ones. Um, you're not selfish in that way. Yeah? You want everyone to go back home, back to Godhead. Even if you say, oh, I'll be left behind. There is this one devotee like that, Vasudeva Dutt. He says that, oh, let all the sinful reactions of every living entities be transferred to me. Let them go back home, back to Godhead. So in the family, the weight is that being carried most by the father and the mother, and the children should reciprocate. And if the children are devotees and the parents are not, then that is good also. I mean, it's not good that the parents are not devotees, but the children will be able to carry the parents, lift the parents. Maybe not in this lifetime, but in the future, especially if they're favorable. Yes. Yes?
thank you, Maharaj. I'm satisfied with the answer. And there's one more question, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Can I
Mm-mm.
ask?
Sure.
Yes, yes.
Um, uh, in the purport, it was written, one should be satisfied with the food Supreme Lord has given. But what about the
Yeah.
one who is begging? Is it his destiny or his quota, or is he is foolish to beg when he knows that Supreme Lord will be giving him the food?
Yeah. So, due to karma, we are all reaping the reaction from our past. So, materially, we're not equal. Spiritually, we're all equal. Materially, some are more miserable, have more sufferings than the others. But a simple devotee, he may not have all of these different opulences or wealth. There's a story in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kolavecha Sridhar, who was an eternal associate of the Supreme Lord, and his main business was to sell banana products, and he will give 50%, as we mentioned in the class or in this meeting. He'll give 50% for the worship of Ganga. And what he earns is very little. It's like I was in Manila just recently. I returned back here, my hometown. And I've seen so many people, they're all trying to make a way of living, to exist in order for them to live. But some, they have big, they work in big offices, buildings. Some of them, the way of living is selling foodstuffs like, street food. So, but if a person who's selling, like simple things, and he is Krishna conscious, he is satisfied compared to the person who's working in a corporate world. Let's say you're like a banker or a CEO, but you don't follow the process of bhakti. You don't surrender to Krishna. Then again, it's relative. Those who are actually, it says that the more one fallen is, then the more he is fortunate to receive Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. And he is satisfied when he receives the mercy of the Lord and his devotees just by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and offering his food to Krishna. He may have very little, but he's satisfied compared to the person who's like, white collar job, but no Krishna. He will never be satisfied. It doesn't matter. It's like recently there was a big fire. You must have heard this, right? There's a big fire in California. Yeah? I think you're muted. You're muted? Yes.
Yes, Maharaj, in
Yeah,
California, Los
yeah, yeah,
Angeles.
yeah. Yeah, they denied, actually, they denied the existence of God. And when the host, she was saying about that, no one thanks God, zero comment thanking God. And she was saying that, oh, this is a godless civilization. Most of them were laughing. They think it is a joke. It is not a joke. Yeah. So most of these celebrities, their houses worth millions of dollars were burnt to ashes. Are they satisfied? No, because they don't know that this is their karma, that Krishna is behind all of this due to our misuse of this body. The body should be utilized in serving the Lord, our senses, our mind, intelligence, and everything. Anyone who does that, he is satisfied, regardless of his position, whatever karma materially he has in this lifetime. He can be the poorest of the poor, but he is satisfied compared to those who seems to be materially very affluent. No, there is no satisfaction for them. Our motto is simple living, high thinking. Their motto is high living and simple thinking. So you cannot be satisfied in that way. Yes? Any
Thank
other
you so much,
question?
Maharaj.
Hare
Seeking your
Krishna.
blessings, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Maharaj, for that
Who
wonderful.
else has a question there?
Maharaj, we were talking about one who loves Krishna, loves everyone.
Yes.
And yeah, that is our mood, that is the devotee should concentrate on. And I would
Yes.
like to understand that a devotee also expects love from Krishna.
Uh,
And
Krishna
so,
says, I cannot repay you. I cannot repay you. It's impossible for Krishna to repay his devotees. But Krishna says that I will bless you, give you benediction that you continue what you're doing to serve me. Actually, serving Krishna, the devotee experience more happiness than Krishna. He says that in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Um, by seeing the beauty of Lord Krishna, the gopis' beauty enhances more, 10,000 times more, much more. And then they become happy. And then when Krishna sees the happiness of the gopis, Krishna's beauty increases more and he also become happy in that way. But when the gopi sees the beauty of Krishna increases more and happy, uh, their happiness is much more. The devotee's happiness is more than Krishna, so to speak. There is no, we're not competing, but this is the result automatically. We don't have to endeavor for that, but automatically it's being rewarded to the devotee who's serving Krishna without any ulterior motive, without personal agenda, just to serve and make Krishna happy. They're already happy automatically. It's like, when you want to cook nice boga, Raj boga offering for the Lord, sometimes those actually who cook, they're already satisfied by serving devotees. They don't need to eat. They feel like very full. Huh? Because, of that love, that reciprocation. So Krishna and his devotees are like that. Krishna is, another name for Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala. He wants to please his devotees also. Much more. And that serving Krishna pleases the devotees. That is the reward, actually. That's why we're chanting. O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. That is our prayer, isn't it? When we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Yes,
So that
Maharaj.
alone makes the devotee extremely happy when they do service for the Lord and his devotees. Both. Okay?
Yes, yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Next.
Thank you. Anything else from our other devotees there?
Yes, Maharaj. Hemangi Gopeshwari
Lars?
Mataji, you can please ask your question. Hemangi Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my
Hare
pranam.
Ram, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the Nectarian class. Maharaj, I just wanted to have some understanding that there are people who get very favorable environment for practicing Krishna consciousness, and there's
Yeah.
others who don't get as favorable an environment. Is it
Yes.
also karmic?
Karma?
Is it because of the
Yeah.
karma?
Yes, also. That's part of it. But you see, a devotee, it doesn't matter where he is. He can be in a hellish condition, but he's not in a hellish condition. The environment may be like looking like it is really hellish compared to others that may be living in Vrindavan, both trying to serve the Supreme Lord according to the direction of the authorities or advanced devotees. And there's no difference. There's no difference. Ah, in the beginning, we may see, oh, there is some like discrimination here. Why, why am I in this environment? Well, I wish I'm in Vrindavan, but you cannot go there. But you see, when you serve the Supreme Lord, you are in Vrindavan, regardless of where you are. But this takes a lot of spiritual maturity to understand, realize this. Um, However, for others, that's why it says that from time to time you come to the holy dam and get your battery recharge, spiritual battery, because it is needed. It becomes depleted gradually if you live in an environment like, especially in a city. I was in Manila. I really admire those devotees who live in Manila or in big cities. They're trying to become Krishna conscious, and it's not so easy because the environment in big cities is a mode of passion and ignorance. We want to be in the mode of goodness, at least, so that we can go ultimately in the pure goodness. So one has to be more spiritually strong than ever. You have to really rise up early in the morning. We gave this example. You chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, worship the Lord. Read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam regularly in the association of devotees and also individually. So it doesn't matter which environment you live, it's Vaikuntha. This is the devotee's vision. It's not affected by the environment. But for the materialist, definitely, if you're in the city and you're not practicing Krishna consciousness, that is really hellish. That is very difficult. You just go with the flow. Devotee, they don't go with the flow. They go against the flow of Maya. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare
Do
Krishna.
you understand?
Yes, Maharaj. Very helpful. Thank you so much.
Okay. So don't give up. Meaning that, it's like, I know one devotee, he lives in a very affluent city, lots of money to earn, but he's stuck. He cannot get out. He cannot get out. He wants to go as soon as possible to the holy dam, but he has some responsibilities that he needs to tend to, like helping his family or, and so on. What to do? So have to be patient, but be focused. Be focused towards that vision to go back home, back to Godhead. Okay, any other question?
Thank you.
Haribo?
Haribol. Thank you, Maharaj. I don't see any other hand raises or questions.
Yeah? What?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they want to go home now or something. Have to chant more Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Maharaj, for
you.
your valuable time and association. And we really feel, whenever we see, we feel the presence of Dham in our home also by seeing you in the monitor. Thank you so much,
Thank
Maharaj, for
you.
giving your time and association.
Yes. I
Jai
hope the
Radha.
best for everyone.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much for the
Hare
wonderful class.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All take
Vancha
care, all
kal
of you.
vancha
Maharaj.
Kalpataruvyascha
कृपा
कृपा
सिन्धुभ्येव
सिन्धुभ्येव
च पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमः
नमो नमः
Bhagavati ki jai.
Jai.
Bhagavatam ki jai.
जय
Hari ki jai.
Dandavat. Hare
Vrindavan ki
Krishna.
jai.
Bhakti.
Hare
Radhe
Krishna
Radhe.
Maharaj.
Thank you.
Jai Hare
Nityananda,
Ki
Krishna.
jai.
Nityananda.
Radhe Radhe.
Oh, very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Thank you so much,
Hare
dear
Krishna.
devotees.
Hare
We'll
Krishna.